verdict of President Trump's so-called hush money trial only cemented in the minds of Americans that the justice system is not serving justice, but the deep state. Trump's verdict reminds us of what we're up against. We'll explain what that is and how you can stop it in today's analysis behind the news, perspective and solutions you won't get anywhere else. If you're concerned about American independence and freedom, then please watch and take the recommended actions. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and share so we can break through that big tech censorship and reach many others. Foreign Affairs, the official publication of the Council on Foreign Relations, the globalist think tank that has infected presidential administrations and guided American foreign policy for more than a century, ran an article a few days before the New York verdict against President Trump was reached. The article's message, along with the verdict, is a resounding reminder of what America and freedom lovers throughout the world have been facing since even before the founding of the country. The article, An America First World, What Trump's Return Might Mean for Global Order, lamented a return would mean a rejection of the idea that it, the USA, has a special responsibility to shape a liberal order that benefits the wider world. That would be an epic departure from 80 years of American strategy. However, those 80 years of American strategy flew in the face of the previous 160 plus years that had benefited from the solid principles of Americanism the Founding Fathers had installed. The limitations of government prevented it from stifling the creative, innovative, and dedicated work ethics of an industrious population. The results spoke for themselves as America quickly became known as a bastion of freedom and a beacon of hope and light in a dark, chaotic, and tyrannical world. A free enterprise economic system undergirded the rise of prosperity and the free exercise of God-given rights. Rights that were protected by various levels of government. Yet even as Americans were building the fledgling country, others were working to tear it down and build their own version of a collectivist utopia. As George Orwell's 1984 depicted, 3 regions of the globe would dominate and constantly be at war to manipulate and control a supple population. The US, Russia, and China most closely fit the 3 regions and were targeted by communists early on for domination. Russia fell to communist revolution in 1917, and China fell in 1949. The US, of course, is still being worked on, with collectivists, internationalists, and globalists making large advancements in taking over education, economic systems, industry, politics, communications, media, religion, foreign policy, military leadership, and the justice system, all with the aid of those with willing hands in government, as well as those that deny, ignore, or are completely unaware of the collective forces conspiring against them. After World War II, global infrastructure began being built for world government. The United Nations was the first success, with its many dozens of affiliates now residing in places of power over its sovereign member nations. In the 1950s, the foundation of regional government bureaucracy over sovereign member nations in Europe yielded the powerful European Union decades later. While the average American may not realize it, this pattern of regional government has ensnared nearly every single country, setting up an eventual plan of merging the regional governments under one world government to be run by global techno-elitists. What life would be like under this world government is reflected in the various charters of the United Nations that are based upon the anti-American premise that government grants rights and is the final arbiter of those rights. Now, of course, this completely destroys the concept of God-given rights, as well as a system of limited government, of federalism, as set up by the Founding Fathers. Infamous examples of this type of tyranny perfectly demonstrate throughout history that people that have no protection of rights are easy targets by their own governments. Government mass murder occurred in Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union, China, Cambodia, Japan, Vietnam, Poland, Pakistan, Yugoslavia, North Korea, Mexico, Romania, and many others. The body count in the 20th century alone is well over 200 million people. Never think that this could not happen today. This is what is at stake for humanity if we, the people, allow the Declaration of Independence, the Federal Constitution, and the rest of the foundation of Americanism to be taken over by a global cabal. The lawfare leveled at President Trump is indicative of what the power of unconstitutional government can do to someone who largely works against the collectivist policies of this cabal. Today it's Trump. Tomorrow it might be you. But Americans do not have to stand for this injustice. And it's high time that they put their time and energy into decisive and constructive action to rebuild and preserve our founding principles. It takes truth to fight injustice, order to overcome chaos, and light to make the darkness flee. Likewise, it takes an organized movement of patriotic Americans to stop the coordinated attacks from these conspiratorial forces. This is precisely why the John Birch Society was created. The Founding Fathers built the movement for independence by locally organizing through various small groups, rallying around the free exercise of rights and justice. Educational literature was written, mass printed, and widely distributed to the colonists and helped convince many to act. No matter what one thinks of Trump, it's clear that the unconstitutional misjustice done to him, his family, his supporters, and actually all voters will have ripple effects throughout the country and into the future. It's been said that a Rubicon has been crossed. The doors to a higher level of political corruption harnessed within American jurisprudence have been flung wide open. While retribution will likely be swift, we must remember that if we despair and have no hope, then we are just as worthless as those who will not even get into the fight. And if we espouse violence, then we are playing right into the deep state's hand and will be arrested, persecuted, and taken out of the fight, while giving the government an excuse to implement draconian measures that will make the COVID lockdowns look like child's play. The Constitution still stands and must be wielded as both an offensive and defensive weapon against the opposing forces. Again, done through local organization and local activities through educational efforts, just as the Founding Fathers demonstrated. Throughout its history, the John Birch Society has demonstrated itself that the Constitution is an all-powerful tool, and we must keep our head and pour our energy into building bulwarks of freedom that will help to install constitutionalists. Join the John Birch Society today to follow in the footsteps of the founders, locally organizing and locally educating to stop this assault. Learn about nullification and how it is being used to rein in unconstitutional government. Helpful links are in the description or comments below, including a free download of our Article 6 booklet. I'm Bill Hahn for the John Birch Society. Until next time, learn more and take action.